series on back to school survival skills. We're here to talk about my fourth strategy that I think is so important that I put it at the center of my 7-pillar framework. And that is knowing how to establish and run really robust, smoothly running routines where the kids are really on board, and it's more like you're executing this beautiful plan or this beautiful play than it is struggling forward, trying to figure it out as you go. And this can often be the very thing that shifts daily life from a struggle and that feeling of overwhelm and even like chaos and defeat to a place where you feel, wow, like I can really do this. So welcome to part 4. I'm so glad you're here. Parents, you don't have to continue struggling on a day-to-day basis, trying to wrangle the chaos into some sense of order. You absolutely can have everything you need in your daily life for yourself and for your kids. Even though we're still dealing with shelter in place, we're still dealing with, hybrid, virtual school, homeschool, returning to school. This is a really challenging time. So this series is designed to give you these key pieces that are going to help you to really survive and even thrive in this back to school time. So today I'm asking folks, do you find yourself struggling at some time of the day where you don't really feel like it's running smoothly and it's really choppy, the kids aren't really listening, they're not really on board, and you're not really sure why? Then this is it.
Do you find yourself struggling?
This is the training for you. I'm so glad you made it and you found this. I want to know specifically what is challenging about running your routines right now. The things I'm hearing from parents are things like, how in the world do I get my work done when I'm now supposed to be guiding my child with their virtual learning at home? How do you even do that? That's like top of mind for a lot of folks. For other folks, it's more about, how do I get my kids to actually go to sleep on time every day, in the sense, like at least within a 30-minute window, so I can have that evening time to recover, they get enough rest without a big power struggle. For others, it's like, how do I get my day going? How do I get the kids like to their virtual session or to school on time in a way where I'm not just like already like exhausted by the time the day starts and spent and feel like you just endured a difficult experience rather than, having inspiration and energy for the day. Yeah. So I want you to tell me right now in the comments, if you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from. Just give me a sense of like city, state, country. I've had folks here from Thailand, Indonesia, Bulgaria, all kinds of places. Let me know that and the age of your kids so I can get a sense of how I can support you today. So start with that. So it would be something like, I'll do it for myself, like El Cerrito, California, 21 and 24. Just give me a little shout like, hey, let me know where you're coming from and what kids, ages of kids. So I would also love to hear, and I really want you to think about this, what part of the day, if you were able to make a concerted change where you could go from it being like a rough ride, super choppy, lots of power struggles, maybe even meltdowns, and turn it into like a smoothly running machine, like really things are flowing, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, you have enough time for everything, you get it all done. What part of the daily routine do you feel like you need the most support with? Put that in the comments now. If you do that, then I can give you some feedback specifically about what you've been challenged with and get you to the other side with 1, 2, or 3 tips today that you could put into place right away. Okay, so go ahead and do that in the comments. Let me help you. And the very first big tip I have for all of us right now, as we're dealing with an unprecedented time. There's a lot up and a lot down, things that are tricky. Hey, Kathy, glad you're here on Zoom. Nice to have you. Yeah, so trying to get the kids into some kind of rhythm right now where we don't have these like as many external factors like pushing us, right? So imagine way back when we were sending our kids to school, how we would be prompted to like have that lunch together the night before, the morning of, because it needs to be in their hand in a lunchbox. And then they go to school and there's this really clear routine of like when they eat snack, when they eat lunch, when they have that afternoon snack or rest time. If you have an older child, like when they're supposed to be, taking care of their chores before they leave the house, things like that. And right now, it's not as regimented, and actually, we have more on our plates with less time. Let me know if you feel me. Say, I hear you. Yeah, it feels like I have less time too. More on the plate, less time to get it done. Because what we have is, instead of having these separate spaces for all the things all the roles we play, household, work, if you do work outside the home, school, for the kids to do their work and be with their friends. For a lot of it's all under one roof right now and is all competing for the time. So what we want to do, tip number one, is we really want to make the biologically driven, the physiological needs of our children take priority. It's the number one thing we need to give our children each day, okay? So we want regular wake up time, regular bedtime, the bookends of the day. We want to keep consistent with that and really work for it. Like it's worth working for. And it doesn't have to be hard work, but it does take some effort, okay? And then we want to really look at regularly scheduling those bio, needs. So really having a tight window for when snack, lunch, snack, and dinner, and even later snack happen, depending on how high your child's metabolism is, right? And actually like sticking to that schedule, even though it's like, I know we all like, and on one hand, or like feel like we need to sort of change every day to adapt to like, oh, but I have a new meeting, it popped up on my calendar and things like that. No, I want you to push back on anything that is cluttering up the day from having a consistent, at least lunch and dinner, okay? It's really, really important. It's one thing we can have control over and have some consistency and a rhythm we can establish for our children and for ourselves, okay? So waking up, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, possible another snack, and sleeping, and getting that down. So if you could right now, and I really mean right now, not just listening, multitasking, like right now. I know Kathy's here, I have folks on in the Facebook group. Right now, write down the ideal times that you think that would really set you and your child up for success. And don't let anything else, any objections of like, oh, but then I won't get to do this, or no, my first meeting is like, just actually what would be the best for your child. And take your best guess. So let's say it's breakfast by 8:30, it's snack at 10:30, it's lunch at 12:30, it's afternoon snack at 2:30, dinner by 5:30, bedtime by 8. If that's, I'm just drafting it out, but go ahead and draft that for yourself. You don't have to put it in the chat, you don't have to put it in the comments, but I want you to write these down and build from there. And I know it seems kind of obvious, but trust me, this is what parents are up against right now. We have to actually get back to basics and create something that we can stick to that makes sense, that actually serves a deeper like physiological need, okay? So that's my first tip for everybody to do right now. If you can get that done in a day, and I also want you to call that a win. Like that is quite an accomplishment during these unprecedented times where we have so many competing needs. And I would give it a window, like within a half hour, within a half hour before or after. So it's like a 1 hour window, but you have your target time. It will help everybody settle into a rhythm. So that's my first top tip, okay? Does that make some sense? We'd start there. We start with like the foundation of our needs being met. Now, the second thing that I really want you to consider, and this is also like a mistake to avoid that's built in here. A lot of parents will overestimate or underestimate how much time it takes for children to do things. I'm going to say it again. Parents often either overestimate or underestimate the amount of time it actually takes for kids to do things. That could be brush your teeth. It could be get dressed. It could be get off the phone with your friend. It could be finish up that game. Whatever it might be, you're going to want to get, and I do this with my clients, I do this in my 2-hour workshops with routines. It's a really fun activity actually, to take one part of your routine that seems to be the hardest. Hopefully it's the one that you might have made note of at the beginning of this training if you're listening to the full thing. And I want you to actually take that chunk of time. Let's say, let's use morning routine since it's a common one that has some sticking points. And I want you to actually write out the steps of what needs to get done that your child's involved with, okay? Like you can put your stuff on another one, but I want you to put there, what are the specific, steps that need to happen? And next to it, I want you to put two things. Okay, we'll start with the first one. The first is, how long do you estimate each of those steps do you think will take? So let's say get dressed 10 minutes, brush teeth 5 minutes, eat breakfast 20 minutes, and you have your outline. What is your estimate? And then I'm like, big deal here. Go test it out. Does your theory actually stand up to reality? Because are you overestimating or underestimating how long each of those things actually takes? Now, I've done this with DocuSign parents, had hundreds of parents on my webinar. I've done this at preschools. I did one last summer when we were actually in person, 2-hour workshop. And time and time again, parents who actually go through this step come back and say, Vanessa, I had no idea how long it actually takes for my child to dress themselves, etc. Whatever the thing is, right? So you get to find out how much time it actually takes if your child is doing it for themselves. Okay, that's step 2. So step 1 is establish your skeleton of your day. What are the bones of your biological routine, especially food and rest? Okay, and there's clever ways to build in hydration too that we can jam on another time. But so that's step 1. Step 2 is take one like if you had it all laid out, you would take one part of that routine and expand it open and actually write down the steps and the amount of time that each of those steps you think will take. Step 3, go reality test it. Like bring that template into the world and actually watch and see how long does it take for your kid to do these steps, okay? Now, this is where the power struggle comes in for most parents because they want it to go faster. And I understand, of course you do. And this is where you get to do step 3, which is really, really powerful as well. Because not only do we overestimate and underestimate how long it takes for each of these steps of the routine, we can also overestimate and underestimate how much kids can actually do on their own independently. Like, what are they actually ready for? And it's not always an issue of skill. Like Kathy was mentioning, focus and motivation are involved, right? So this is where you're gonna have to get really strategic. When you look at your steps, let's say it's brush your teeth, get dressed, eat breakfast. I'm making it extra simple, but there's probably more like 8 steps. You go through those steps and you decide which of those things do you want to prioritize right now for your child to gain more independence with. In other words, if you could get them to the place where they're actually able to do that on their own without you having to be there watching over them, motivating them, helping them focus, giving them instructions, helping them find stuff and everything, pick one that you really believe like they're ready to do this independently. I'm going to support them a bit. I mean, they're almost there. We talk about this as the zone of proximal development. It's like the zone, like what they're ready, the next thing they're ready for. Like they're so close. If only I could, build in some strategies there, they would totally be able to do this on their own. Some clues are they've done it on their own before and successfully. Another clue would be that they ask you for help, but when you get there, they don't actually need it. Another clue could be that another hint could be just like it's a shorter thing, so it'll be an easier win. There's less steps involved, like maybe there's 2 steps and not 7. Getting dressed is actually a long, elaborate thing. Believe it or not. Open the drawer, choose a thing, put it on, close the drawer, and then repeat several times, right? So once you've got this one piece of the routine that you would like your child to be more independent with, take some time for training. In other words, like pretend it's like showing them, I don't know, how to chop vegetables safely with a sharp knife. I mean, with that much attention, right? Like go through the steps with them and even practice it like a play, like a little rehearsal, okay? The reason you want to do this is because you want to build them towards that independence, one piece of the routine at a time. You don't need to do it all at once. Shoving them in there saying, hey, get it all done isn't going to work. Being there, hovering over them is just going to stress everybody out, right? They're feeling overly watched. You're feeling stressed that you're not getting other things done. Pick one thing. Pick one thing. So let's say it's brush your teeth. So you go in there and you make sure that they know where their toothbrush is, they know where the toothpaste is, they know how much to put on there. You even show them how to squeeze the tube from the bottom, put the cap back on, all those little steps. Hi, Mary. Good to have you here. By the way, if you love this, share this. Share it with your parent friends. This is free information and tips. And, you know, you can come hang in our parent group if you're not already there. I've got a bunch of these trainings up. I've left them up. I usually take them down, but I've left them up since, I think, April because of shelter in place. I just want parents to have everything they can right now to survive and thrive in this time. I know what you're up against. Trust me, it's a lot like when I had 24 children to manage. It's like how every parent feels every day now. So anyway, back to the tip. So you're going to do the biorhythms, the skeleton of the day. You're going to pick one part of the routine to kind of expand out and actually write down the steps. You're going to estimate how much time you think it takes. Now, even just if you get to that point, bravo. You did more today than you've done before, probably. Like actually taking the time to get organized, right? That's a great place to start. And if you want to take it that step further, you'll go and see how long does it actually take and modify your schedule based on that. And then you'll pick something to teach them to be more independent with. Just one thing to start. And last piece to tie it up, I want you to accept, and I really mean this, like take a breath into this, being like, okay, it's part of my job. This is what it means to be a parent. To accept that you will probably need to be an assistant or in the room or have them bring their stuff to you in your room for the other steps they're not ready to be independent with at this time. And I want to add the word at the end that I love to the statement. They don't know how to do it on their own yet, but you'll get them there. I promise you will. I promise. I've seen it over and over and over again. I have clients who have 12-year-olds I'm working with who they finally got their child to go to sleep on their own. I've got clients who have 2-year-olds who are now brushing their teeth on their own. It's totally possible. It's amazing when you see it happen. And I want you to feel inspired to take it one step at a time. And another step you can take with me is if you're not yet in the Raising Resilience parent group, go ahead and click join group in the Raising Resilience page, which you can access by just clicking on the icon at the top of this. Okay, if you're not yet in the group, just click join group, register. I will send you a free guide with 6 great tips on how to keep your cool in the moment. And we have lots of great trainings coming up. If you're already in the group, we have lots of great trainings coming up. We have a 2-hour, totally worth it, trust me, webinar on Saturday the 26th. Mark your calendar, Saturday the 26th. I will put the link in this post, okay? I promise you. And I'll also put it up right now in the comments of the Zoom. I want you to have my best, most powerful strategies for getting through big emotional moments with your kids. I'm talking meltdowns, tantrums, power struggles, some of the hardest stuff. And I know, Kathy, we've done some work on this already. You've seen this training as well. But it's worth a refresher to be there with me live. I'm always updating my stuff, y'all. If you meant to go to one of these in the past, didn't make it, this is the one. This is the one I'm offering this fall. This is it for all the way through at least October, okay? So if you want to learn how to navigate meltdowns, you'll come and hang out with me for this training. You'll register, okay? It's free, 2 hours, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard, in September this month on the 26th, okay? 2 Saturdays from now. So bookmark it for you. I'll send you a handy calendar reminder thing that you can just put into your calendar, make it super easy for you, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing we have coming up, our 6-day training on how to cultivate calm parent strategies was so popular back in June that I'm gonna run it again in October, even though it's usually a once-a-year training. I want you to have these strategies right now in the mix of back to school, because I know what it's like to be in back to school mode and be in charge of so many children and families in a whole classroom and hold it down. And I know that's what you're all doing with your households right now. There's just so much there. And so these are strategies that are going to help you to do things like yell less, handle your temper, model how to de-escalate and put your lid back on when you do lose your cool, manage stress throughout the day of being with children, so for some of us 24/7. So I also want you to have an opportunity to attend that. So if you're in the Facebook group, I just threw up the Navigating Meltdowns webinar link, and then I'm also now going to share in a moment here, I'm going to also share the link to register for the 6-day training. And I don't say it lightly that this is game changing. It really is game changing. Folks have had incredible results just by coming to this. I mean, I had parents go and take the tools that they learned in the Navigating Meltdowns webinar and in the 6-day training and absolutely put them into play right away and see such a difference. So I'll throw that into, it's in the Zoom chat, Kathy, and then I also put it in the Facebook group as well. So you can have a chance to register there, another free training. And my other big announcement is that we are having a Motivation Mastery Weekend. Now, Motivation Mastery Weekend is something that I put on for my clients in July. You know, we had 23 families, about 40 people attending, and we had a great time virtually having a virtual retreat. I sent care packages in the mail. We had like sweet treats and like teas and also like really fun interactive things to do with learning motivation hacks. And what I really want you to know about that, most importantly, is that if you're having any struggle or if you have any curiosity around how to motivate kids in kind and clever ways without having to, I don't know, let's say use bribes or, you know, get big and loud for them to listen to you or get stern and say their name that way that they'll listen to, you know, if you want kind and clever ways to motivate them without having to punish them or use rewards, this is for you. Like, this is my big ol' everything. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like years of research, decades of experience with kids, what works to get kids self-motivated so that you're not having to stand over them and get them to do things. You're able to step away and they keep going when they have a homework assignment or a learning task with virtual learning. Like they actually keep going. And another thing that comes from this that's really lovely is once you learn motivation hacks, like how to motivate them, they internalize them and then they become more self-motivated. So everybody gets to benefit, right? You get the tools, they get the tools. You have a family common language, these 5 research tested tools, and it's really easy to remember, you know, model that I've created. And we get to have fun together. Like, I have parents who were tuning in from home, you know, 2-parent families, single parent families, like even 2 household families. And it's a family pass. So you just get to come and you get to learn all the motivation strategies that you could possibly want. And then, you know, parents were really smart about it. They would have one person attend one session, another attend the other. They would, you know, settle the kids into something, use the motivation technique they just learned to motivate them to do something, you know, an activity while they were on. I mean, it was just really creative how folks were making it work. Hey, Jennifer, nice to see you. I'm just sharing with folks about the Motivation Mastery Weekend. So I will be creating events in the main page, but if you want the lowdown, you're going to want to come and hop in the group. If you haven't yet, just click, it's free, fill out the registration, share your email, I'll get the guide to you as well. So we're wrapping now. I'm so excited that I had a chance to share this with you. This is one of my favorite topics, robust routines. You absolutely can do this. You can make a change right now. If you haven't yet written your outline, do it. And if you made it to this part of the video, I would love for you to know that if you're over in the group and you write a skeleton and take a little snapshot of your routine outline and post it in this post here, I'm having a super secret contest. I'm going to pull a name for next week and I will send you a prize. Something that will help carry you through. Help carry you through this time. Trust me, it's a nice, sweet little prize that you can share with the kids right away. Okay? It's based on my gratitude research. You'll really like it. You'll really like it. Trust me. It'll come in the mail, contactless, and you'll get a chance to share it with your children at any age. Okay? So if you made it to this part, go ahead, hop in the Facebook group if you're not in the Facebook group yet, and share your photo of your outline, and you'll qualify for the super secret prize. Spontaneous contest. So Jennifer, I think you're in the group, head over there if you're going to do that. I know we've got some folks listening on Facebook. I think Jana's here, possibly tuning in from Indonesia, maybe from Bali. Hey, honey. Let me know something you got out of this training. What is something that you're going to do right away to improve your routines? Is it going to be making sure you get consistent on that bio schedule? Is it going to be, going through and estimating the actual time it takes and then reality testing and see if it's true, Or is it going to be picking that one thing to help your child get a little more independence in one of the harder parts of the routine? Is it going to be shifting your mindset and just being like, okay, I accept that part of my job during this more difficult time of the routine is to really be available and supportive and have to be involved. That maybe my kid doesn't have the motivation yet, doesn't have the focus yet, doesn't have the skill yet, doesn't understand all the steps yet, right? There's so much more on this. I would love to support you. So come and hang in the group. Let me know that you want more. Like put in the comments, tell me. Ooh, Marie's saying she wants to do training with more intention. Yes, good. Like you're picking a specific skill and intentionally building independence. Yes. Marie, what's one thing that you would love to train on right now? Like what would you love your daughter, love your son to be more independent with right now? Share it. Okay. We want to know. What is it? So yeah, and then Jenna, if you're here, let us know too. We'd love to hear from you. Kathy, I'd love to hear from you. What is one specific skill that you would love your child to have more independence with? Tell me right now. I would love to support you with it in our last minute or two here. Marie's got room cleaning. Ooh, such a good, big, juicy one. Wonderful, wonderful. So training them how to clean the room. And you know what's funny about cleaning? And it goes with not just with young people, but the big people in your life too. I mean, I don't know how many of you have had a situation where you're co-housing with somebody or you're like maybe working side by side. Although Marie and I, when we worked together, we were a tight team. We seem to see the same things and do the same things. But what ends up happening is two people can literally look at the same space. One sees a mess and one sees nothing wrong. Like they don't see it, So a lot of what just a hot tip for you, Marie, is to just bring your children's awareness so that they even like look through the lens that you're looking through, bringing their awareness to what is actually out of order. And I would go section by section, perhaps, what do you see about the bed that, what do you see about the desk area? When we open the closet door, what do you notice? When you look at the floor, what do you see? And really like bringing that awareness so that it's even salient information, like it even gets in, when they look at it. And then the second thing would be tools. What tools are available to support them in being successful? Like one of those like mittens that has like the duster knobs on it, like it's a couple bucks, so they can go around and dust everything. Do they need a bin to put everything in first before they then reorganize it? That could be a possibility. Do they need like a dustbuster size vacuum for cleaning up spills instead of the big honking thing that's so heavy that will deter them from wanting to do it? So those are some tips for you, Marie, and those of you who want room cleaning to be one of the things that your kids are more independent with. Okay, well, we're coming on the half hour. Any last questions, comments, throw them in now. This is your chance. I will support you. All right. So you can do the super secret contest at the bottom of the Facebook group page, the Facebook group video. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. We're going to be back for more survival skills. So you're going to want to come back here at 2 p.m. And I do highly recommend to consider that Motivation Mastery Weekend. It's the big fat, I don't offer this kind of training to the public usually. I only have a couple of these a year, if any. These are usually just in my client program. So it's a really special event. Also has a sliding scale. So you want to check that out. A 6-day Calm Parent training and the 2-hour webinar coming up for navigating meltdowns. So please peruse those options, sign up for something. There's no obligation, especially for the free ones, to attend, but it'll bookmark it for you. And I'll see you on the other side of that. All right. You got this, parents. Lots of love to you. Kiss your kids, even if you're mad at them, and give them a squeeze, give them a hug. And we'll see you next time.